This conference will now be recorded.
It's 3:01 on January 13th. I'd like to start the Stoneybrook Advisory Gateway Committee, and we have a new member, Chris Capiel. I'd like to welcome Chris to the committee and thank everybody else for showing up today. And in attendance is myself, Tom Roller, Virginia Stacy, Angela Sullivan, Warren Davies, and Chris Capiel. Absent is JT Thomas. We're good to go. So let's just say, take a look at the minutes. If anybody has any suggestions about the minutes or needs a few more minutes to look them over. And we're going to look at two sets of minutes because we're looking at November 4th and December 9th. So we'll take each one at a time. Anybody have any comments on the December or November 4th minutes? Are we good? What's that?
Accept.
Okay, motion to accept made by Virginia. I need a second.
I'll second.
Angela seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Minutes are approved unanimously, 6-0. Now let's talk about the November 9th minutes, December 9th minutes, boy, oh boy. Any comments there? I do have one thing that I know that is not what I said exactly. It's a minor detail, but it's on page 2. Oh, about 3-4 lines down. And it says that Mr. McCulkin noted that Mr. Shoemaker had approved $10,000 plus necessary for taking down some trees along the walkway on Pebblebrook. That included some digging and installing. Then it was nothing there for the roots. And I questioned, is that made from cement? But it was the blocking barrier is what I said at that time. And we need to add that in there just so anybody could know what I was talking about when I asked what it was made of. And Mr. Davies noted that as a polyester fiber material that they put down there, it's about 2 inches thick. So that's the only thing I have. Does anybody else have anything?
Well, it should say Miss Sullivan. Sorry.
Oh,
Right above it, it says Mr.
I have to admit, I didn't.
I wasn't gonna bring it up. This is so minor.
Yeah.
It's right above yours. I just thought it was petty, but if you're gonna bring up one thing, I'll bring up that one. Just a little typo.
Okay, just like the state for the record, I know on the committee members, it has it as Angela Sullivan, but it's Miss M-I-S-S or Ms.
There's just MS, but on page 2 where you were bringing up the correction,
Mhm.
just right above it, it's got Mr. Sullivan. That's all I was saying.
Oh, does
Should
it?
just have it. Usually she does.
Oh,
MS.
up on top. Wait a minute. I'm looking on the motion by Mr. Thomas, seconded by Ms. MS.
Oh, there's another one. Sorry. I was looking on page 2, right above yours that you were talking about for corrections.
Okay.
There's a Mr.
I think you're on the wrong page. Yeah, you're on the wrong page.
Oh, which one? Wait a minute.
This is December.
I thought I was, wait a minute.
You're in November.
I did. There it is. Sorry. Oh, it's wrong page. So I need to make this correction on page 2. Sorry.
Page 2 of the November 9th minutes then? Or November 4th minutes? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I was there, but now I'm back here.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Page
I'm
2.
sorry. For future reference, it is Ms. MS is
She
fine.
just says MS.
Yeah, we had already approved them.
Yeah, I just think it was a typo, just a little typo.
Yeah, okay. And that was a typo on November 4th minutes. Top lines, page 2. But anything else on the December 9th minutes?
It's just a typo, but on page 3, it says Attorney Generals, and I think it's Attorneys General.
Yes, it is. That's correct. Where is that again? I must.
Middle of the page on page 3. Mr. McCullough noted 3.
If I can't remember what I said, but it is the correct way to say it. On page 3.
Am I on the wrong one also?
December?
December 9th, page 3.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, page 3, Mr. McCullough noted 3 attorneys general. Yep, and that would be correct. For the record, is the correct way to spell that. Anything else? I do want to point out that Mr. Shoemaker noted the standard contract gets renewed every year, and that's with the commissioners and Lee County Sheriff's Office, but we'll see what they have to say. I have nothing else, so I need a motion to approve this. We have a motion from Virginia to approve the minutes for December 9th. Do I have a second?
Second.
That came from Tom. Tom Roller seconded. All in favor? Aye. All right, the minutes are approved as amended unanimously. Okay. I don't know why we keep on having the final budget. It keeps on popping up. I think I'm just gonna skip over that because that's a done deal. I've said that in the last 2 meetings, that's a done deal. So let's move on from that. Okay, number 4, discussion of contract with Anchor Tree Services. This is, they've come back and I thought it was even more than $5,000, but they really jumped up their contract. And Chris, quick question.
Okay.
We run a fiscal year that ends on September 30th.
Okay.
What is the timeline on their contract that they have with Gateway?
I'd have to pull it and see. We have a contract list. I could check it, dates for dates. I don't know if it's coincident with the fiscal year or not.
Yeah, because I'm not sure when that number changes, I guess is what I'm saying.
And had Laura put on this email that the contract runs through March 31st.
The current contract and then
She
will
said,
change?
Your current contract with Anchor Tree Service runs through March 31st.
I haven't gotten down to that. Okay.
We will be charging the invoices from October to March against your landscape line item. With that charge, we're 5,000 over budget.
I see at the bottom there, yeah, okay. Well, I have a suggestion. I think we should be going after, and that we did, I believe that there were some other bids were taken in, and they were still one of the lowest, if I remember correctly.
There was one that was really, really low.
Which was concerning, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that usually tells you
So
something.
I don't know about, I think Brian had 2 or 3 or 4 of them.
Okay, was it Brian that got them?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was Brian.
Brian, pretty sure it was Brian. They mentioned it last time at our last meeting, he was here.
He wouldn't be in the building.
It is, we could pull the contracts.
Yeah, just to review that one more time.
Yeah.
I want to I did talk to another tree trimmer cutter that was doing some trees on our street. And I know that Tom was talking to him. I think you were talking to him to get something done in your own house. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Which one, Junior?
Steve's?
Who?
Steve's?
Steve?
And
I talked to him just briefly though, Joe, and I got the impression he likes to do a job. You want him for one day, he'll charge you $1,200 to come in and work for a full day with a full crew.
and that's one of the things I want to talk about today. How do we want to approach
And I
this?
told him that I thought you had a statement of work, and wanted an annual contract, and he looked a little confused about that. So I'm not,
Yeah.
I don't know, I think they're pretty big. They're bigger on the
East
on the
Coast.
East Coast than they are over here. But he seemed a little befuddled when I said,
Well, he left a message on my answering machine yesterday. I didn't get it till just today.
But if Brian has some other bids, he probably has a scope of work and a proposal to look at.
Well, let's talk about that then. Talk about it now. Do we want an annual contract like that, or call somebody in? Because right now, the way it's been working with Anchor, they don't come out until we call
Right, pretty much, yeah.
them. And, you know, maybe rather than making a monthly payment, get a bid for a specific contract at that particular time. You know, use our head when we call them out. Hopefully it's at a time of the year where they're not swamped. And maybe that might be a more prudent thing to do and more cost effective. I don't know. I don't know if anybody has any ideas on that.
If they're not doing anything each month, and they only come up and call, you know, I think maybe the no contract, no.
Now, there was only a couple of us that met with them. But I know when we met with them, they were talking about how in the past, they didn't have to do as much trimming as they're doing now because of warmer temperatures, more rain in the dry season, and there's been more growth on the trees. Does that pretty much sum it up? And so that's another reason he says he's got to start jacking up prices. So I don't know what to say about that, but I think it supports
I
what you
think the
brought up.
691 a month that we were paying, I think that we're just showing on the budget how much our budget balance is.
Actually, a
It
check-
costs-
I think we were paying them a check every month.
I think so.
well,
too.
Yeah, on the
either way,
disbursements, it was
but it's
there.
still, if they come out to trim the trees, I know we just paid just over $4,000 to do 211 palm trees on Stoneybrook, on Stone Valley.
Mhm.
So, and that was with our landscaper. So that gets pretty expensive when you go. So, you know, if you don't, depends how often you're gonna do it. And we're trying to do it twice a year because of keep them halfway clean.
If you remember at the meeting that we had, and I think you were there, Chris, weren't you at the meeting with them?
Yeah, with
When Anchor
Carter.
came in,
Yeah, with Anchor.
Yeah,
And their plan had always been to do the deciduous trees on one year and then like the oaks and whatever
Yeah.
else. And then do the evergreens and the palm trees the next year. So it was like an every other year kind of thing. So if you look at it from that way, you know, if,
you'll have to have a
I don't know how many,
annual budget there somewhere, so you're gonna.
I know.
what the spell
we'd
works
need to
on.
estimate what we need.
Yeah.
And that would be based on past experience, I guess. I think the key thing is how much would they be willing
But most
to
of
do?
our, I would say all of our palm trees and all of our oak trees, you can't really trim them from the ground. And that's where the difference is. Once they have to start climbing, they climb, the cost goes up. And that's what we're finding around all of our palm trees now.
Are getting
At a
tall.
point that you can't stand
Or-
on the ground and do it. and the
Or
landscapers
they
aren't
bring
on
a
the-
bucket in, cherry picker, or they bring a bucket in, a cherry picker, and they stay in there and.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do a good job. Well, same with Joshua and all the tree
Well,
services.
which brings up another subject. Maybe we should be talking to Joshua directly rather, because it seems like that's who's
I think
doing
they're
it.
sub to.
I know.
Anchor, you know.
Maybe we cut the middleman out, I guess. Food for thought. So right now, when we see when this contract ends, and if we're until the end of March, that gives us a little bit of time to really go
Yeah.
through this and discuss.
I'm not sure who all Brian has contract proposals from. He may have some from Joshua. I don't know. I know he had 3 or 4 at the last meeting.
Yeah,
He's
I didn't
bringing
see,
them over.
yeah. Do you remember the name? I don't remember Joshua being one of them, but
Yeah,
Joshua
yeah.
Tree? Okay, 'cause I didn't think I remember.
I didn't get involved with that, but he's bringing them over right now. He's printing copies of them out. And it may be too, if, when he comes over, if you have questions or you want to talk about the crosswalks or a stop sign, you know, discuss it with him.
That's a good idea.
I know Pelican just finished doing something very similar with some rumble strips and crosswalks over there. And the engineering and permitting cost them 4 times what it did to put in the crosswalks and the
Yeah,
signs.
I hear what you're saying. And of course, they probably went to the 9 yards, but I'm not sure rumble strips is what we want for crosswalks, because we don't need to be reminded they're there. We know they're there. I think it's a question of being aware that somebody wants to get across. And that's why we were talking about, at least in my opinion, you know, the need for the lights. Getting off subject here, but we'll get back to that, because I had a brief discussion with Dan about that too, and he made a good point. And about blinking lights and whatnot, and epileptic patients and being a potential problem. But I think he came back with an issue that possibly we can have a switch that puts on a red light. And I was thinking, well, maybe we can do a quick yellow to a red. You know, just that one blink, not a continuously blink, like a quick warning and then turn red for a certain number of seconds until the person gets across. But we'll talk about that. As far as the trees go, though, if we have to spend $5,000 more, and we don't have that in the budget for this specific purpose, that's why it helps us when we know when this contract changes over. Where would we take it from? And any suggestions on that? I know we do have a little bit of that carryover money. Would that be a problem, taking it out of there and adding it to that budget?
You can vote to take money from whatever line item that you like.
Okay.
I'm not going to
Well, I know,
put myself in that position in the middle of you and your budget.
You do not have the capability of approving that, though.
Sure.
You do.
How much do we have budgeted now for the trees?
I think whatever, something less than, let me see, less than 10,000, probably 8,000, 9,000.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, about $8,300 that we've been spending for a year.
I think that's, we probably budgeted around that.
Yeah.
Okay. But, so then it would not be that difficult to simply take some money from that accumulated surplus that we've accumulated and bringing it over, correct?
No, just straight budget transfer. We just send a memo, have it moved.
Can we do that regardless right now? Just increase that budget?
If you want.
Somebody make a
Sure.
motion to, what is that account officially called? Like
Reserve account?
reserve account.
For
Somebody
what?
make a
I
motion.
missed it myself.
Somebody make a motion to move $5,000 from the reserve account into the tree trimming account.
Yes.
Anybody have a problem with that?
Why are we,
Because we don't have to spend it, but we're not going to make a decision right now until we see contracts and possibly look at other things. And I mean, we can delay, but sometimes I like to get the money there now, but we can't get it approved. And then when we do need it, it's already there.
So the bottom line is, anyone that we hire in the future, everyone's gonna be approximately
Pretty much.
$10,000 more than our budget.
It might be less. That's what we're hoping, to pay less. But at least the money will be there. We don't have to pay it if we don't use it. It just goes back into the surplus for the following year. Reserve, if you want to call it that.
But we don't even know when the contract ends. So why
We're
would,
guessing
March
December 31st right now.
March 31st, that's what Laura's saying.
Yeah. Want to see the contract. All right, hold off on that.
can I make another comment
Sure.
on this letter, that the email that was actually sent out? I know
From
there's-
Laura?
Yeah, and from you also, the communication involves, Janice needs to be taken off and Chris needs to be added. He's not in those emails.
Well, this email
This
was
before.
specifically about that. It's a separate email where Chris was added. Okay, we don't have it here.
So Janice's name needs to come off of the email.
Yeah, well, this was before she resigned.
This was
Oh,
written
okay, the date.
December of 18.
Okay,
Yeah.
In fact, I think she resigned
I thought it
after,
was
shortly after
November.
that meeting.
no, okay, so it wasn't, I thought it was November she resigned.
No,
Okay,
Actually, it says December, oh, that's December the 18th, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'll go back to sleep.
do we don't, weeks. I don't have the bids for the patching and repairing here, do we?
For the what?
Patching and repairing to the,
I don't know.
I had asked Shannon to get that over here.
I think the last time we met, I handed out a recap sheet with all the numbers on it. I don't, could have a copy of it here somewhere.
In December?
I thought it was
Yeah,
in December.
Yeah.
Has it changed from this?
Nope.
No.
Everything the same, as far as I know, yeah. Oh, here it is, yeah.
I'm sorry we don't have it in front of us, but is it acceptable to pass that around? Because I know we did see this already
Yeah,
and discuss it. I
Trying
don't
to,
know, well,
trying to see. I had extra copies, I don't know if I took them out of here, and I got.
I don't see it in the minutes that we voted on.
Yeah, I was thinking he had to get
Yeah.
back to us because these were off. And I've got a $5,900. No, 5,000. Sorry. Goodness.
Oh, there's some. Thought I had.
Oh, scribble.
Essentially, the difference here for the most part is the cost per square foot.
The what?
The main difference here is the cost per square foot.
Yes, yeah, that, what it comes down, everything's the same except for that. I've talked to Atlantic Southern, that's going through the numbers on that, and I made it clear that, you know, if they get the bid at that particular cost, they don't come around halfway through the project and say, we don't have enough money. He says, no, he said, we are happy with that number. They've gone through their system. Everything is go for them. I know it's not it's local only that it's from in Naples, but it's basically an East Coast company with a lot of good credentials from a lot of people. State has good stuff on them.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember
And
discussing
the
that.
Better Business Bureau has never had any complaints on them.
My next question then is, where do we have the proposal from? Do you have it?
I've got several different copies of the proposal. This is one I can pass around. This has the whole packet put together. Made a couple, so I'd have one for Gateway also.
Sorry. So the cost difference on the patchwork cost, they're saying that it's 27,000 compared to the other company, $40,000. They're doing the same type of like chemical.
They're doing the same
compound,
amount of work. They're doing the same, they're
Same
doing
amount of work.
6,700 square feet. All three would be
Same
doing.
type of product also,
They what?
like a chemical compound of the patchwork that they're doing, is it the same type of product? Like it's made out of. the
Yes,
same
yeah, well,
material?
yeah, it's all under federal standards.
Okay.
Yeah, there's federal standards on
There's a
there.
difference on the pounds of sand.
Yeah.
You know, your third column's not filled in on that one.
Yeah, what you're referring to, the amount of sand that had to do with the ceiling later on.
The seal, yeah, the sand, yeah. Yeah, that goes with the seal coat, and that wouldn't be done by any of the companies until at least 6 months after the macadam is laid, because it has to seal up and cure, to seal it. So that would be a follow-up item we'd have.
They
Well,
did it like
I
6
really
months or
think,
a year later?
I'm sorry,
6 months or a year later?
it's about 9 months. With patchwork, they could probably go 9 months. He said a lot of times they wait for a year, but somewhere around 9 months.
It says at least 6 months.
When did you get this copy?
You just gave it to me.
Okay, because I've got last month's
I've-
copy.
no, we-
Well, that's the
we had
same
this-
copy. That's
we
the
had
same
this
thing.
before.
That's the same one.
You have an old one. We had this last month.
Yeah, that's one we had last month.
yeah. I'd like to get moving on this,
We've got to get moving.
okay?
If we delay getting it to the next week, we're not
No,
going to get it
no,
done till
exactly.
March or till next week. It's
And
gonna be
we're gonna
March.
be in a situation where things are trenched, ready to go,
Yeah.
and Does anybody object to bringing this to a vote? All right, now I have the different contract proposals here. And based on this proposal, I know that Chris hasn't seen it. The rest of us, I believe, have. Just don't have copies of it in front of us.
I've got a copy for Chris that they would have for the board meeting.
Okay, this
Okay.
Chris here.
No, for Chris.
Oh, there.
Yeah, for the
Okay, very
for the
good.
Board of Supervisors.
All right,
Yeah.
if that's the case, I'd like someone to make a recommendation that we accept the proposal from Atlantic Southern.
So move.
Second.
So Warren makes the proposal to approve the patchwork cost of $27,213. Square footage to be done is 6,730 at $4 per square foot. Now, one of the things is, this is not everything,
Oh, go ahead.
okay? Reason being, I'd like to keep this under $30,000 and then possibly come back with the seal coat approval.
That'd be much easier to go for. Yeah, I don't have a
Exactly.
problem with that.
Everybody understand?
Yeah,
All right,
I agree. But we'll lock them into that price.
yes.
That's what we'll do. We'll lock them into that price.
Any more discussion about that? All in favor?
Uh,
All right, unanimously approved to accept the Atlantic Southern proposal. $27,213.
Should have had more money.
But just for the patchwork.
Just for the patchwork, we
Uh,
will revisit, it's understood that we will revisit the seal coat.
While we're
At
talking,
possibly the next meeting.
while we're
Okay.
talking about that, another cost that come up is patchwork on the grass. I've contacted through Brian with Mainscapes, and where they've taken the trees out, of going back through and sodding some of that area. There's 4 areas for sod, some bushes. There's some places where the trees have come out where it's good neighborhood. Put a couple trees, or not trees, but bushes in there to block it up, and then to clean up the chipping from the stuff.
I do want to say that they haven't ground down all the stumps yet.
No,
The guy
no.
who was doing it, his equipment broke.
Yeah, I haven't been pushing them on
No.
that because we haven't set a date. Once we set a date, we'll go. Because I think they've been kind of using us as when he don't have anything going, he comes out. And the last time he was out, because the HOA president was there, the equipment broke. So we got to keep him away from some
So,
of
well,
that
Chris
stuff.
Capiello's.
Sent you that quote today. He never came back.
Hey, no, he must have been
It may not be
repairing.
fixed yet.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
You
But
said
they're
quote
taking out a lot of roots and stuff too.
Yeah, I got the quote back from Freddie. I sent it to Warren today.
Ready.
Yeah, I just got it on my computer, and the cost from Mainscapes to do that would be about just under $2,000. But that don't have to be done right away.
How's that sound to you, Brian?
You just let me know when you want the PO created.
But I'm not asking you.
I know it sounds from out of work that was involved.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Okay.
I mean, you could go get another quote, but you might be $100
I'll-
away. But to me, I would just go.
Have
ahead.
them there.
When I get home, I'll,
They're out on a regular basis right now.
They
It's
know
just a
your
problem.
property,
We're
they know
gonna.
it well, and he met with Warren, so.
Yeah.
when I get home, I'll print it out. I've got it on my computer here, but I'll print it out and get a copy to you from what they
Just
have.
let me know. I'll
Yeah.
create the PO.
I told the supervisor there, that I said, we want to get a good idea of what the cost is going to be, that we're not going to rush into doing some of the stuff because there's some other stuff that has to get done. So just trying to cover a lot of bases right now, so.
All right, about $2,000. Do you want to do that now?
I would prefer to wait,
Okay.
in case we
Until-
get
the
down
grinding
and
is
something
done?
comes up,
All
or
right.
we have to go
Let
get
me
some
know.
more. We have to get some more money, then we can, instead of kind of piecemealing it, just have one big chunk instead of doing that. But
And so Warren's going to give you the contract for the actual patchwork, okay? And hopefully that you guys can, we got to get a contract signed with them. And I know that Chris has to get a PO number.
Yes.
Does Chris have the $30,000 authority yet, or is that still up in the air? Still 10?
Until, I know they're working on lowers, getting that changed to 30.
Yeah.
That hasn't been approved. So he has up to 10.
they didn't have time to discuss it.
Okay, I understand. I know it's been a
They
little
beat that up on
holidays.
the-
Okay. Well, in any case, it may have to go before the board.
Yeah,
It
that's,
does.
yeah,
And
that's why I want
we
to get
need
it on the
done.
board for this next time, so we can
Okay.
get it done.
Is that possible to get it before, do you know?
The
Is that-
board meeting coming up,
Yeah.
everything can be submitted, yesterday. It's gonna be the following board.
I'll
meeting.
get a copy of the stuff to Chris today.
Okay, so next boarding would be in February, then, the first Thursday in February?
No,
Yes.
21st.
No, the 21st stuff had to be in yesterday,
That's what? I didn't hear.
so it would be.
He
the
says the
4th.
21st had to be in yesterday.
All the agenda items are normally due the Tuesday, which after the board meeting, before the following board meeting. So basically, she wanted everything by the 12th because it goes to,
I want to
anyway,
get,
the next board meeting would have to be the 4th when you're talking about.
Is that okay?
I hate to wait that long because it's going to be into March before we get started. I'll talk to Chris about maybe trying to get this.
Move
in
that
some-
up?
Yeah.
All right.
Unless you can sneak it into Georgia and she can make it happen, you'd have to do the.
Yeah, I got all the stuff here that
Can
I
you
think.
give
Is everything for the next board meeting in concrete?
Word?
It is? All right, well, she said, sorry, you have to go to the 4th. Then.
It's what?
You'd have to wait to the following board meeting, not the one next week, the week after, or 2
All
weeks after. Yeah, but he needs to get
You know
something
what's
submitted.
happened
That's
is
it.
they've
You have to wait
moved
to the
these
following.
dates up.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was
We
kind
have
of,
this meeting now, so we can get things. That's the way
Yeah.
it was supposed to
Yeah.
be initially scheduled.
meeting is until next week. That's what,
Correct.
but they got a lot of work to do. I don't understand that, but
So normally we send it to Marilyn and she sends it back, so we gotta have it to her, then she
Yeah.
sends it back about a week prior, so this deadline's like Tuesday.
Well,
maybe I'm gonna talk to Chris. It might be something we can walk on.
well, let me just say for the record, this
Yeah.
is another situation where this is the kind of work in the past that we did have a reserve account specifically
Yeah.
for this kind of side work, walk work and road
And
work.
that's,
So that we anticipate that that's where this money will be coming from.
yeah,
It's not
that's where
budgeted.
I'm
It's in the reserve account, because we put 10 grand a year into that
Yeah.
for this kind of purpose.
Okay, that's fine.
We had a vote on this, right?
But
We voted on the
Yeah,
27,000, and we've agreed to put off the seal until later.
Later. And it probably wouldn't get done till the next budget anyway, so you might be able to budget that money.
If you can get it in this next meeting, great. If not, then it's gonna have to be on the 4th. And maybe by then, is there a possibility that Chris might have his $30,000 authority? to
They have a
approve these
big
things?
agenda for the 21st, the last I looked.
All right,
I don't know, I wouldn't calculate it.
all right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're-
They talked a lot at that last meeting of all the stuff they're gonna do this next meeting, and that's why I was.
Well, right now, it looks to me like everything's running a little late anyway, even getting this project done. So maybe it'll be okay to get that patchwork when we get it done.
Can I ask Ron a question?
Sure.
On the patchwork, the date, did he give you an approximate date?
For
The-
starting?
Yeah.
No, he
Like,
won't give you a
timeline.
date until you have it approved and they have a PO.
So he
They
won't
won't
tell
be-
you like, oh, they may do it in 3 months or 1 month.
Well,
Any
the last I talked to him about the dates, he said, well, if you get it to me, like 2 weeks ago, he would have got it done in January.
Okay, that's what.
But now going
Yeah,
into
timeline.
February, it'll be late February, early March before, because everybody's just socked. It really is.
Yeah, I
It
know.
just- it
Well,
really is.
I have to say that at least it's dry season still.
Yes,
We wouldn't
yeah,
wanna
that's
do it
true.
in the wet
That's
season.
true. Yeah.
So the other part of my question is, the tree trunks are not completely done yet. Are we
No.
going to be planting something before the patchwork's done, or planting things after?
I don't really plan, I'm waiting to get it cleaned up.
Yeah,
And then they're gonna they have to put the barrier in yet. Once they get the barrier in, I would actually prefer to wait to put the sod in
The last
until
thing, the
after
last
the
thing.
last thing they do,
Yeah, I agree.
when they get done doing that.
So
That'd be
I
the
was
best
just
time.
concerned about the activity that's going on, for the patchwork can be done with all that other stuff being
Yeah.
done or not done.
Yeah, the only thing we'll get Mainscapes out to do is to clean up the piles of the stuff and maybe plant some bushes. But as far as the grass goes, I prefer to wait until they get done, because you don't know what kind of machinery they're gonna have out there to do the cutting and all that kind of stuff. So no use tearing it up any more than we have to, especially with putting new sod in. And there's only 4 big areas that we're gonna put it in. We're not gonna do the whole thing.
I'm just concerned that the tree trunks aren't done yet and the barriers aren't put in yet.
Well, they'll be done before they start
That's okay.
that stuff, because I say I haven't been pushed because we don't have a date when we're gonna start. And I know, in talking with the person that's been doing it, he's the only one that really does it for them, so he's really going hither and yon. And then when when the machine broke the other day, we all looked at the stump that he was working on. It was only half done. He was putting his machine wheel away. And we said, what's the matter? Well, he had to go back to the shop to fix it. He never did come back.
Okay.
So,
He said he was going to get another machine.
yeah, but he never,
I assumed he'd be back.
yeah, so did I. Yeah.
We may need just to follow up on that.
Oh, well, I keep in touch with Tommy Carter. I talk to him about once a week, see if they're gonna get some people out. Yeah, I would contact most.
We
of the
don't want to
people.
get everything tied up or backed up.
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of
'Cause
follow-ups I do.
I want to make sure that's done before we start even patching. Doing that other
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
That's what I was
oh,
worried
that will
about,
be
is
done.
you've got
Yeah.
Machines patching, machines.
Yeah,
getting
once-
everything done at the same time.
Once we get a pretty good date, those trees will be done before they go, because we don't want them to do that. Plus they also have to put the barrier in, so.
Right.
One of the things I wanted to add, I was a little shocked. I was actually last Tuesday, not this Tuesday, walking back from the clubhouse. I don't do it that often, but I was. And there was a bunch of ficus, a little ficus hedge there. How much damage their roots did to the sidewalk right there, because there was no trees around.
That could be some of it, yeah. That could be some, that's why on the scope of work for the blacktop people, that to cut any roots that are coming. We got the tree roots pretty good, but that one area, I'm sure where you're talking about,
It's getting close to gemstone.
yeah,
And
yeah,
down
that there's that stuff there that they're gonna cut those and take those roots out too.
But
so.
we will have, the barrier will be there in that area?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I know it's ficus grow fast.
Yeah.
All right, so where are we right now? So anchor service, 5,000. We'll talk about that, kick that down the road. Discussion of traffic law enforcement. I'd like to put that off and work down and get some of these other things before we get into that discussion. Pathway project, we've approved it with Anchor, not Anchor, I'm sorry, Atlantic. And as far as, someone's got to sign it. We need to let them know that once it gets approved, I don't know if you want to give them a heads up. We picked them, but it's in the approval process.
I've been talking to them and I said, unless something goes wrong, I said, I can't find anything to not give
Not
it to
approved,
him.
as
Yeah,
suggested.
yeah.
Well, how about giving them a call saying the committee approved it, and we're just waiting
Yeah,
for
yeah.
approval from the board of supervisors, all
Yeah.
right? So
He's been
maybe,
pretty accommodating
might-
so far.
yeah, and start setting up a timeline.
Yeah, he may even come up with the time. In fact, if I tell him it's gonna be February, he may try to get a schedule somewhere in there too.
Just gotta make sure that.
Yeah, they've only got 2 or 3 group or teams that work. So, yeah.
All righty. All righty. I just want to discuss also real quick. This is number 8 I've jumped to. I'm going to consider number 7 approved for now, and that's handled all that we can do. Number 8, a preliminary discussion of treatment to the paving on Pebblebrook. Now, we've talked about this before, and I know we reviewed a couple of companies. It seemed like we had some confidence in the company that had done or is going to do. I'm not even sure, is our parking lot done yet? Are they working on
That's
that?
Bain.
It's supposed to get marked on Friday
Okay.
and it's supposed to start on Monday.
Okay.
So hopefully when you're following up with the stump guy,
Yeah. Gotta
he's
get
gotta
it.
come and do that stump first before
Yeah.
he finishes any of the other ones because
I'll
How
call.
How are things going with Bain as far up to now? How do you feel about them so far?
they've been very proactive, for lack of a better term. I mean, he's the guy that came out. He
I know,
surveyed the whole
walked
parking lot.
everything.
He-
I know.
Yeah, we were with him. And
Is that-
he's staying right
Is
with
that
us.
Bain?
Yeah, Bain, yeah.
Yeah.
And that
but I
seemed to
thought-
be for me at least, the preferred choice to do any road treatment, okay? And you're familiar with what the process is, and I'm not sure that everybody else here is familiar with what we're talking about doing. After the flood, the road got very nasty and bumpy and irregular and has cracks in it. It has smoothed out a bit, I guess, from usage. It just seems to have smoothed out all those little bumps. But there's this process of putting a chemical, I'm not even sure what it is. Do you have an idea?
I don't know what it is. I know they call it rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation.
Oh.
It's I think
You
it's
talk about the
probably.
doing the roadway, not the parking lot.
Yeah,
Correct.
no, we're talking roadway now.
Yeah.
That's what I have on number 8. And it's probably an industrial secret. I don't know what they put in their rejuvenation. But he seems to be very high on it. I know that Chris here has talked to now Supervisor
Bobby and Wolf.
Flavia. And they did in their community, and they seem to be very happy with this process. And what it does, it soaks into the pavement and softens it, spreads it, just fills in the hairline cracks and whatnot.
Yeah, it softens it up so that through normal driving, it recompacts it and fixes a
Some
lot
of
of
the
those
flaws
smaller
and
issues.
things.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I think that's important to me is keeping moisture from seeping into cracks and getting under the pavement, because when it gets real wet and sloppy, it breaks up, eventually will break up the pavement. It just does, it flexes. So this process seems to have potential. And the initial bid that was given was in the $30,000 range, as I recall.
25 to 27.
What? Application of pavement dressing, condition and restriping is, I don't know if this is for the parking lot.
No, that's,
Yeah, that's probably, it says restriping is probably part of it.
yeah.
Okay, because that was 20,000. So for that.
Yeah, but they're
rejuvenation,
not
that's-
doing that treatment.
Yeah, I know, because they can't, but I'd say, I saw that number in there and I just wanted to
Yeah.
go back and double check, make sure it wasn't for the roadway.
Well, I'm willing to go with Chris's number because he's been in communication more than I have with him.
Yeah.
And it's under 30 then. So
Yeah, it is.
it's under 30.
And
That's
that
something that
includes-
our Chris here would have the capability of approving down the road.
And that included a couple of repair areas where it has to be cut out and repatched because
There were some cracks
Yeah.
that were developing. Yeah,
I think they were right at Muddy Creek.
they're around there.
What is the rationale for just doing Pebblebrook and not the side streets, besides cost?
Well, that's a pretty good one.
Oh, well, I'm saying because I can see a lot of people
Yeah, no
complaining
question. Well,
because we're
everybody
not doing
drives on
side
Pebblebrook.
streets.
Yeah.
You know, why have a fancy, nice dress coming in and then you pull off the road, you got all kinds of ugly roads in the back.
Pebblebrook's about a mile long,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit less.
Right.
If we did everything, it's over 5 months.
Right.
And I'm not sure we're in a position to
I-
quite do that.
I would,
And it's also a test to see how it holds up. You know, that's the road that gets the most traffic.
I would get a proposal broke down by Pebblebrook and then doing all, how much money is it really gonna cost to do all of them? And then you can narrow down. I think if people see how much it's gonna cost, they might not be as upset as far as not getting their roads done. Because you drive around or ride around on these back roads, some of the back roads are just really bad as far as color, chips, cracks, the same as
Well,
everything
and
else.
there's some sink spots too, you know, the spots that are settling.
Yeah.
There's water, or whatever in the ground. I don't know if there might be a leaky pipe underneath there.
I think we need to have a plan though to do if we're not gonna do it all now, but to do the rest of them, because that, again, you listen to those board meetings and everybody wants to get their street done. They want to get this done for themselves and stuff. So I think we need to be able to show, we can't do it all at one time, but we can do the main road now, and then maybe the next year do X number, maybe another mile somewhere. But just have some kind of program going that particular way.
I won't disagree with you, but I think I'd like to see that we're happy with it and that it works in our community first. That's just my opinion.
With what?
Does anybody else have an opinion on that?
No, I would agree with that.
Agree with that.
It'd be good. It's a test road, it's got the most traffic.
And then go from there. And then if we want to do the others, I'd like to have a little feedback from the community too, because
Yeah.
that's going to be expensive, and are they willing to pitch in and
They haven't given us,
absorb that cost?
they haven't given us a proposal to do that yet, have they?
No, we
All the
haven't
other
asked.
streets, no.
No, we haven't asked.
No, we only have the one.
How much did they play over at Flavia's place? Do you know?
Significantly more than what we're paying. And we got a mile, they got a mile. Theirs is in a loop. Maybe they had a lot of repairs. I don't know. I didn't speak to
Okay.
Flavia in depth about exactly
Okay.
what they did.
Yeah.
But when she originally told me, they paid in the low to mid 40s.
For the mile, wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, maybe it had to do with the fact that they did a lot of special stuff around driveways with putting in sandbags and to
Oh.
absorb overspray and all of this kind of stuff. And
We don't have
because
that
we have a
problem.
straight road, so maybe we're saving a lot of,
What did,
you know,
what
labor
did,
and stuff.
they say, because some of the articles I was reading about just doing the seal coating is that the chipping along the concrete could cause a problem too, and should be repaired before you do some of that. Did they say anything about that?
I don't know, we didn't get into it that.
Okay, yeah. Because the only thing, the one thing I read about this rejuvenation in a couple places, I got a study here somewhere, was that it's used basically on low speed areas because it does take some of the coefficient of friction off the roadway. And I'm thinking, when I'm reading, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this could be a problem. But then they said they use it at airports with small planes. They don't use it for jets or anything because the coefficient of friction would be a little bit too much. But the speeds on ours would be stuff. And that's the one thing that I read about after I heard about the rejuvenation, because there's all kinds of articles on that, and it's very positive, except that aspect that they recommend it only for like low speed areas. So,
Makes sense.
Well, I would consider 25 low speed.
oh, yeah, no
Not that
question.
they
Yeah.
drive 25, but
Yeah.
it's a goal.
Yeah.
All right, well, so we'll continue moving forward on that. And we're all in agreement, I assume, that the Pebblebrook will be the first street. We'll take a look at that, see how that works out. And try to narrow that down. Do you want to be the contact for that with them? About
Sure.
that? After we get the pavement done on, in the parking lot? And or whatever you're doing in the parking lot.
Parking lot's gonna be, is a cut, breakup, a replace,
Patch and then reseal.
different, and then once it's all done, now they're only gonna come back, unlike with 9 months with the bike path. Dane said in a month. Wow, month to 6 weeks, they can do the, well, I think it's because it's only small areas of repair maybe.
Wow.
And the main part of the parking lot itself is getting resealed. But we're following up with them just to be sure
Yeah,
that
That's what.
that
because
4
the-
weeks, 4 or
not a
5 weeks
problem.
is enough.
All the
yeah.
things I read on seal coating, and even talking with the company we've chosen
Atlantic.
and the others, they won't touch their big roads or anything for a year. They take that much time. So that's why he was a little reluctant. I said, well, 6 to 9 months. He said, well, maybe for patch stuff be okay, but
It is, well, that's only a sidewalk. It's not like
Yeah,
we're doing
yeah.
a road.
the, does Bain do that also? Does he do the rejuvenation?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I read, I'm reading too much, that most of these companies that have rejuvenation, it's proprietary mixes that they use. That's why some of them haven't been tested like other stuff, because they can't get that. The company, what was it? Asphalt Restoration Technology System out of wherever, they have their own set, and that's why they have to list it as rejuvenation because of
Gotcha.
the way they mix it. So,
And it behaves different than a sealer.
yeah, I've read.
What we lost out with on the parking lot was that because it has been sealed, it can't be rejuvenated.
Right.
Because this stuff won't seep in.
Yeah.
Chris, did you have a question for me?
Yeah, I'm sorry to tie you up. Yeah, basically it was the, yeah, we'll go down to that. Stop sign and the blinking lights for the, I'm sorry, got a little hung up on this thing.
That's okay. You want a stop sign on Bluestone?
Yeah.
You want stop bars or just stop
We
signs?
gotta stop there. I think we got crosswalks anyway.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pushback the last time I suggested that. And Mike felt that we needed a traffic study to be able to put the stop sign in. And subsequently, it seems that maybe that wasn't correct on a community like this.
It's your roads.
What's that?
It's Gateway's roads.
Gateway's roads.
You're in an HOA.
Yeah.
You really don't. Because you can dictate the speed as well into there.
Mhm.
If you're out on a county road or somewhere else that's county owned, then you would have to.
Do a traffic study.
If you want a stop sign, then you're getting down to what kind of pole and everything else you want on it. The reason I say that is this. But basically, U-guard pole with a stop sign's cheap. You put it in the ground, you're done. If I put one of these $800 to $1,200 poles out there, it gets pricey. Because then you gotta put a concrete foundation base and everything else. My suggestion is you put a good old county stop sign, I can have it installed in a heartbeat. But you start doing everything else and you're talking labor intensive, you gotta put a concrete base, you gotta put the mounting on, somebody knocks it off. And I know Mr. Tinkle thinks it's Lehigh, but I'm gonna tell you what, if somebody runs a thing over, it's called yank it out of the ground and put another one back in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The other ones take forever. That's up to you guys. If you wanna prove it,
They need to match. I don't like the county. What do you know about the silver stick poles?
it's called a U-guard pole, correct?
Yeah.
You have them up and down Gateway Boulevard now, you just don't notice them. They're all over the place.
Not in
But they're
Stoneybrook.
not in Stoneybrook.
We have one when you exit the,
And I do
Oh.
have,
It's
that
green
has
now.
been,
Oh, it's been changed. Took me a year.
I do have one out here. There is one out here in the yard,
There's one, an extra
but
green one?
there ain't no extra,
Oh,
nothing. That's in case one of mine gets ran
what
over.
was that, an inventory discount or something?
yes.
Yeah, it's called double the price.
Most of the entrances to the malls areas, and the area that pops in my mind real quick is over on 6 Mile, coming off, going into where Walmart is and BJ's. That all used to be, when you come in, the people coming in off the roadway didn't have to stop. Now they've changed it, and they've been putting stop signs on those short roads. Was this a change by the county? That'd be pretty much the same as we have at
That would
Bluestone.
be city.
Huh?
City of Fort Myers dictates those on those back roads.
Oh,
County
okay.
is 6 Mile, the city has the other ones. Because I can tell you by the Lowe's, that's a city-owned road. 'Cause I work in
Okay.
the city and that's city driven.
Yeah.
Inside your HOA is a different story.
Yeah, okay.
See, that
okay.
is by the HOA.
I just know that always just kind of ticked me off, because you come in and you had to be a little concerned because you weren't stopping and everybody else was, and
Because
everybody thought
Any
you should.
stop sign that has to be put out here on or on Griffin or Gateway Boulevard, it has to be 7 foot minimum from the ground. There's certain heights clearances, everything you have to do.
Yeah.
There's certain requirements that have to be done. MOT standards is what they suggest.
Exactly, and we're familiar with that discussion, we've had that before. I'm just curious, how do we feel about this? I know how Angela feels, but I need more than just Angela's
Well, the
opinion.
community's talked about this for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Talking about putting a stop sign there. just
And you
getting
know
it-
why we
done.
backed off on it. You
I have
were-
a suggestion,
Go ahead.
and you can take this,
We're all ears.
if your community feels it,
Mm-hmm.
put a U-guard stop sign in there, let it go for 6 months or 3 months. If they start complaining, you can always take it out. Because if I put that expensive one in, it's gonna be expensive to take it back out, because then you got concrete base and everything.
If we put one in it, it's not coming out. That would be the goal.
No, I'm saying is this, if you put it in
Yeah,
and nobody complains, it's all good, then you can come back and put the other one in, the expensive sign. But
It's
if you-
just that
if you-
Angela on the corner there with a megaphone yelling as far as going by. It could be a problem.
That's just a suggestion, I mean, because that can be
That
installed
might be the
quick.
way to go.
I think we've waited long enough. to
Because
put
that
in-
one he can put up like tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can do that one in a heartbeat, but you do the other ones, it will take
How
time.
about we try that? Because if nothing else, at least we're offering protections to kids right away.
So how
crossing
much does
across.
it cost to do the quick one? Because if we take it out, we gotta pay nothing. Okay, let's do it.
Unless you want me to charge, unless you want me to charge you for the
Is that
sign.
$3 or
I just wanna
3,000?
make sure we're not paying 300.
That's 0, and there's 5 over here.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
I
would-
probably have a stop
I
sign in
would
place
love
and
to
get a
get it in there
U-guard
as soon as
post.
I
possible.
would make a motion that we install the low-cost stop sign and give it a shot and see where it goes. Can I have a second on that?
I
Second,
second.
Who can I reach out to
I'm
tomorrow?
gonna give it
to,
to Angela just because this has been her project from 5
Something.
years ago. All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Let's go with that. Sounds good.
yay.
And as far as a stop bar goes, we have crosswalks. Did we put stop bar in that last time? I can't remember. Can you
That's
remember?
just crosswalks.
Just
You're talking
crosswalks,
about
so no
on
stop bar.
Bluestone?
I think that Mike would let us put the stop bar in because the stop sign
Wasn't there, correct.
Yeah.
And here's
So it's
what I'm
just
saying,
crosswalk.
you
That makes
install the
sense.
stop sign,
Yeah,
typically you put the stop bar, and there's 2 different types you can put in. I highly suggest you do the expensive type, because it won't fade away.
yeah, that's what we've done with all our crosswalks and everything.
Because you do the cheap ones, you paint them, they go.
I know, they're gone in no time. But here's the thing. I mean, to have them come out and do one little stop bar, isn't that kind of like a pricey way to go?
Now, here's this, once again, you're inside a gated development, so it's not like you're out here County Road.
Mhm.
And that's not Pebblebrook, your major, it's a
Yeah,
side street.
it's a side street.
I'd put a stop sign, I'd see whether or not you need a stop bar. And here's why I say that. Put the stop sign, see what happens. If people complain, then come back, then you can do the permanent sign and the stop bar at the same time.
Okay.
If you,
All right.
that way, I don't want to do something, yank it out, and you gotta come take a stop
So
bar back
it's
out.
not, we're not breaking any rules by putting a stop sign in without a stop bar.
Correct.
Okay.
Because it's what I consider, and the county does, a private road type of
Gotcha.
deal.
I know we've received that in print that it's a private road.
Yeah,
that
so
won't do certain things.
to be honest with the county, they're like, we don't care.
We don't. I agree. I agree 100%. And
Heard that before.
as far as the,
That's what they'll
and
tell
we
you.
do have the crosswalk there, which technically and theoretically, when someone's crossing that, they're supposed to stop anyway. So, but I think that will help at least, get people's attention, because I know people are coming down that road and just making right-hand turns, left-hand turns, like they have the right of way, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't have that. All
So
right, that's on, as soon as you can get it done.
who do you want me to call?
Tomorrow.
We'll see what's going on. I'll see what Ryan's
Joke.
doing.
Well, not Ghostbusters, but whoever your favorite,
Know which one of you folks.
oh, well, I'll tell you what.
Angela.
I would do it, but I'm working tomorrow. If they're coming out tomorrow. If they're doing it Friday, I'll be home.
You tell me what day is best. I mean, I can do.
Angela, you want to get involved with that?
Well, I'm working the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm not sure about working a.
You tell me
schedule.
what's a good time to call, because I want to make sure it's where you guys want and everything else.
I
And
hear
We'll
what
make
you're
sure,
saying.
we'll make
Oh,
sure it's up
yeah.
to,
Because last time they were shifting signs around. Luckily, I
well,
caught.
that's why I want to make sure it's where you
Issues.
want it. You tell me.
Mm,
Who I
I
call?
mean, I could do it. I just need to like
Other than
schedule a
Ghostbusters.
time. Hang on a minute.
Glad to accommodate you.
Thursday morning.
You want to do Friday? I can do Friday.
Yeah, let's make it Friday. And you can call me. Friday, I should be free.
What's your number, Joe?
And I'll be around too.
Okay.
What's your number, Joe?
I'm sorry. Give him a home number. It's a better chance of getting hold of me. It's 239.
Yep.
225 1369.
I'll call you
And if he calls me,
Thursday.
I'll give you a buzz. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Friday.
By the way, I
Well, call
didn't
me
even
too. I
formally.
said it's like at
Have
10
you,
o'clock. I'll be.
Brian, have you met Chris Capio before?
I've probably seen his face.
Okay, Chris.
Okay,
there-
I've seen his face.
Well, Chris is our president of the HOA.
Oh, good.
So, we, there's a link in the communication going on here. So
That's
everybody knows what everybody else is doing.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but the things they gave me 2 days ago when we met Monday night, I said, okay, I got my first advisory committee meeting on Wednesday. What do you got for me? So I got all the things here and every one of them is on here. So actually, except one.
There
Well,
you go.
I'll wait for
You'll
you.
be getting information in
So
the
you need
email.
one?
I'm surprised you didn't get it by email.
You need to get hold of me. That's my number.
Okay, thank you.
Email. But, all right, I'll call you Friday.
That'd be fine.
Y'all good? Anything else?
What color is the post?
I think you're
It'll
good.
be silver.
You may want to
Can we
hear
paint the green?
real quick our
I got a
discussion,
can on my
the
garage.
next discussion. I'm trying to make this quick. All right, so stop sign, we got that. Move on. Quick discussion. I don't want to make this drawn out, but a preliminary discussion on these warning lights at the crosswalks. Okay, and I don't want to spend a lot of time, but we've been talking about the fact that sometimes we're driving down the street and people do walk out and the cars just don't stop. And there are other times there's someone standing there and you really don't know if they're about to cross. But if they had a button to push, that a light came on, just to give us a minute and give you a moment to get across, 30 seconds.
I think I
whatever.
forwarded you the ones I got from
That's
Right
correct.
Construction,
And I think, yeah,
I've been working on that.
and they're
And
solar
that's-
powered.
It's got to be a real
and they need to be
pain in the
linked.
butt because of people not calling back.
That
I've got,
company's local, the one he gave me. is
yeah,
local.
well, yeah, the one I finally got some information after I submitted all the stuff to him to do. He's still checking on some stuff, but I've contacted, sent a whole bunch of emails out, and I got from Traffic Safety Warehouse what we're looking
Right,
for
he's here.
out here. And I've been emailing, I've emailed 3 or 4 different places for the button kind of thing. It's got to be solar powered, et cetera. And I'm waiting for
And they have to
responses.
be synced. We want them synced.
Yeah.
So
But
there's a link.
So when they hit the button, it goes on both sides
It goes on
and all
both
that kind of
sides.
stuff. So I think that might be some of the problem, is that they're trying to sync them with the solar stuff. But again, I don't know. I've been
It's a good-
dealing with the one guy at Linz or
Yeah.
Sign Tech. And
They're expensive, I can tell you that.
Yeah, they are gonna be.
We know that. That's something the board will talk about, and we did bring this up to the board last month. And in that discussion, we talked about the frequency of the blinks and the colors. And one of the board members has a wife that is epileptic and brought to our attention that those blinking lights can be very disturbing and create problems for them. So he suggested to me after that meeting and that we might consider just press the button and a red light comes on. And it stays on for 30 seconds or something, then goes off.
I don't,
Orange light.
I don't think that.
I don't know that,
I don't think the feds would go with that.
I don't think that's, you're talking, now you went from a caution to a red and now you got a whole different issue.
Yeah.
As far as on the MOT side of the house, if.
Federal Highway Administration testing had the flashing light and had no problem like that. I was kind of surprised they said that because they're all over, Fort Myers Beach has them. Pelican has them for their crosswalks for their golf carts, and it doesn't flash that much. And I'm sure the flash, they've considered this in the studies, and I got a study here somewhere, it's about yay thick on all this stuff.
And I know they tested frequencies and everything.
Yeah, but again,
So that's one, you'd have to, I would suggest work out with a vendor, because a vendor
I don't
knows all
think
the MOT
the flash
standards
of
that.
those little LEDs is that
At nighttime,
penetrating.
it's pretty bright.
I don't think it's that penetrating.
Now, I
compared
know
to
that
some other
most,
stuff.
now I know that I used to have it up north, and I can't even remember down here, when school's in session, don't they have blinking lights by
Yeah,
schools
You
too?
do out here,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
They've
you gotta
got-
know
So,
that
you know,
those are powered by
You're
electric.
living with those things, and what color are they, yellow?
they're yellow. They got their cannon, they're about this big,
Yeah, yeah.
and they just flash on and
Well,
off.
I would look at it this way. I got one person, I got 3,000. I gotta look better after the 3,000 than I do the one, if that's your case, but I don't think they're gonna make them into
Well,
red flash.
that's good. All right, well, this is an early discussion, and I'm glad that we had it. That's a good point.
Hopefully,
Knows what's going on.
this guy from Sign-Tex said he had some information. He was trying to filter it through, and I should get it. When I get it, I'll email you a copy of what I get.
Sounds fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Brian.
Personal question.
Yes, ma'am.
If you install that sign on Friday and we have 2 cans of green spray paint that match our mailbox, can we paint the pole green?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, just don't paint,
I got it.
just don't paint the
I
stop
just thought
sign.
that was like a temporary little fix, sorry.
You wanna paint the
I
thing
will
green?
be very careful.
That's fine. Just don't paint stop sign.
Thank you. Okay, we got it.
I'll get a hold of you Friday.
What I'll be doing.
And like I said, down the road, if you don't hear complaints, you want a permanent pole in, then we'll put a concrete base and a permanent pole in the stop bar.
Yeah, but let's get the stop sign in, see how it goes, what kind of reaction we get to it, and then we'll go from there.
Oh my
I
God.
appreciate the suggestion. Take care.
5 years.
Well, they changed their position.
What,
Yeah.
we were misinformed
Yeah,
previously about
well,
technical
something changed, yeah.
details, and now we don't have those technical details.
Correct.
Good.
That's what the guys told me Monday night. Talk to Brian about it. It can get done.
Okay. Like Bluestone, it's okay. Of course.
Yay.
What am I, oh boy, okay, yeah, here's what we skipped over. All right. Or I want to get home, okay? Discussion of traffic law enforcement and jurisdiction for Stoneybrook. I know you have things you probably want to talk about. Warren, you listening to me here?
That's on
I'm
my
sorry,
list.
I'm trying to get some other stuff done.
Okay, I said, the only thing here that I think we've skipped over right now, haven't really, I passed over and haven't really jumped on, was the discussion of traffic law enforcement and jurisdiction for Stoneybrook.
I've said about as much as I can say about it. I really feel strongly that the information that, of the paperwork that the sheriff's office has on file is a request from Stoneybrook HOA in 2006 for traffic enforcement, because they own the roads, they control the roads.
You're talking about the Lennar, the management company, when it was a declarant board.
Well, it was the
was
developers
declared, yeah.
HOA, it was the developers at the time. They had it, they went through the process of going to the county commissioners to come out. That's what they have on file down there. Since that time, all the roadways have been turned over to Gateway. Gateway is now the owner. They now control it. And they made it very clear they control it. I mean, all the letters we get from the attorney and even the letter he sent to the Attorney General's office wanting to move the stuff, they own the roads. They are in control.
I don't think you have all the paperwork that I have.
Well, I don't, Joe, you don't provide it. I
Okay.
got paperwork this
I
much,
know, I know.
and I've got all the information that the CDD has, the county, Lee County Commissioners have through their attorney, and from the sheriff's office. And I know the one thing that you've mentioned, the one email that went out from the attorney to the Lee County Sheriff's attorney to their people was that the 16 HOAs that apparently have this, as long as there's something there signed by somebody, it's good to go. Well, when you read it, it's not good to go because there's misinformation on there right now.
But you did read the letter that came from the attorney from Lee County Sheriff's Office saying that we had met their requirement.
Well, that was, I don't think, because the only thing they've furnished to me is the email that went from the attorney, I can't think of her name, to the people involved, their people. And then an email that they had sent, one of these people sent, I saw her name here somewhere, sent from the office there to Shannon saying, okay, we're good to go. This is what the attorney says, it's okay. That's fine. But the attorney is going on what is in file. If that was my attorney and I was running that, I'd be doing something to follow up to make sure that the ownership and stuff is the same from time to time. And we've told them, and time again, that Gateway owns the roadways. Gateway's the one who has to request the sheriff to come in to do that.
Which is what we were asking the letter to say.
Yes.
But I will tell you that the attorney's letter wasn't based just upon what was in the file. She said in that letter that they had reviewed the whole project and what was in the file, correct. And in their opinion, and in her opinion, that it did meet the criteria.
I would like to read it.
Okay.
Because I just don't,
And I think you guys might have a copy of that.
well, if they have it, then I'm gonna get on them because I've gone through April and whoever was after April, I can't think of her name.
April's last one.
April.
Yeah, because actually April overlapped with Christopher.
Yeah, well, there was several people there that I sent requests to and I got that, all this information they got. I sent one to the county, got all the information from the county. I reviewed all the Attorney General's opinion since about 2005 or 6.
I can't remember for sure, but the request for that comment may have come from Stoneybrook Direct. Because, and the response may have gone Stoneybrook Direct. I'm not
that's
sure on
fine.
that. I gotta double check that.
But, you know,
And JT may have been president when that occurred.
I'll close out my position and my argument. You know, it's paper.
Mhm.
It's don't cost us nothing to do except some time from the attorney to write up the letter to the county commissioner saying Gateway Services request that you do this under section 316.006B3. That's fine. That's all I got to do. County commissioners will approve it. They'll send it to the sheriff's office. Then the legality, anything that goes on. And my concern would be that if something happens, if a sheriff's deputy comes into Stoneybrook based on this current one, and something happens, something big happens. In this day and age, you never know when something big's going to happen. They're going to come back and say, well, wait a minute, you can't have them in here because you don't own the roadways. No matter what the sheriff's office says or what they don't have the paperwork showing this is what it is, that we could be liable for some stuff that we shouldn't be involved with. And I think the only thing the HOA may have to do is to write a letter to the county commissioner saying, negate this because we no longer do this. And then Tony's letter comes in after that saying we want to do this. And it makes it easier for us to get 04 funds. We could budget 04 funds to do it. The HOA can do some funding on it, which they already do, I believe. So I don't, I don't see a
Actually,
big deal on it. I really don't.
Got a bill. It hit for a few $100 for the last time they were out.
But the last time they were out was in 2019.
There was nothing in 2020,
Nope,
Lee County?
we had
I
them
saw
come-
disbursements for Lee County Sheriff's Office in 2020. It wasn't big, but it was something there.
Remember in December of 2020, when Andy had them, 2019, when Andy had them come in and they had the parking tickets and that whole fiasco that went on about parking tickets. That was the last time they were.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a fiasco, just people got upset because they thought
Exactly.
they were above the law.
Yeah.
But that's
That
another
was
subject.
the last time. That was the beginning of December 2019.
But I seem to recall there was something in disbursements for a check or a charge for Lee County coming in 2020. It was not 2019.
Oh, you might be right. When they caught one or two of the excessively speeding vehicles.
Okay.
They were doing, they were running speed on Pebblebrook.
But I'm not sure. I was a little surprised to see it because I didn't recall it coming through us here and to be approved, that it even got billed to the.
They come off to the 04 fund?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It would have
I
had,
don't know how that-
One charge, as
It
I
was-
recall.
and it was probably first quarter of 2020
I think it was.
because it was before I
I
came
think it
into.
was.
You know, we've discussed this for the last 3 or 4 months.
I know.
And it's the same discussion over and over again. You guys bring up the same points every time.
Well,
What are
that's
we
why
gonna
we
do
were
to get
hoping,
beyond this point?
I was hoping that a letter would have gone out to the commissioners. We need to
Yeah,
get
I was
that done.
remiss for that, but I'll get it
Okay.
taken care of
And
next week.
I
And-
thought since it's on the agenda, I was expecting a copy of the letter that you've been talking about for 3 months and a copy of the letter you've been talking about for 3 months to be here today because
And
it's
I don't
on the
understand why you
agenda.
two guys don't get together and share that and say, look,
I want a copy of it. I want a copy of both of them,
I have,
so I can educate myself so we can discuss it.
Okay. We will put it back on the agenda for next one.
And next time, we're going to have copies of these letters so we can discuss it, right?
My copies of letters are like that too. It goes back a
The one-
long
the one
way.
The
that's
very
one
late, the
that-
very latest
one
one.
email.
there's only one that the two of you
email.
disagree on.
Right.
And that one.
Sounds like 2 emails that we need. So we can move on.
Here's the problem, and it makes it complicated. I did start doing this, and it sounds bizarre, but you know how your emails, when they come in, they start stacking, and yet sometimes you have trouble finding that old email because it's buried in there?
Yep.
Well, sometimes some of these communications are attached with something from another subject. And flipping through pages and pages of that and finding that email, which is attached with something else, is not always that easy to do. I don't have a personal secretary doing this for me. It is time consuming, and I got so much stuff, but I will try to find. I know I've seen that letter recently that I'm referring to that came from Lee County Sheriff's Office. And that was quite clear that that attorney felt that we had met the requirements. And that was after the whole thing with Ed Tinkle and all the communities getting shut down. And it was addressed to Stoneybrook with a list of the roads in the community. In any case, but if we can, Warren seems to feel that it's important we have the okay with a request from Gateway saying it's okay for Lee County. The commissioners think it's okay for Lee County to come into our community,
requesting approval from Lee County for the sheriff to do that.
which on some level boggles my mind. We even have to do that because we pay taxes to run the Lee County Sheriff's Office. We're in Lee County. Why is this an issue?
Section 316.006 covers the cities. I think Pelican has an agreement with Fort Myers Police because of what they do under that 316, and there's county. And since we're in the county, we have to go through the county commissioners.
Okay, and that's what we're asking for.
And once again, which budget is that coming out of?
Well, ultimately, if we're gonna do it that way through Gateway, it's gonna come out of 04.
Okay.
So, there's not much we can do right now except consider that for the next budget when we do it.
Yeah, I think that the other aspect of it is the same thing that Gateway does with the sheriff, just providing funds for overtime for the people to work specifically in Gateway. And we can do the same thing with HOA funds once we have that.
Let me say this. The problem is when it comes to out of the 004 fund and gets us involved, we have to be involved then when the scheduling goes on and how it's done. it won't be an HOA issue then if the HOA is not paying for it anymore. I feel strongly about that.
No, well, but that's not totally true, because we can, as the HOA, hire off-duty deputies to work in Stoneybrook off of this request, because they've requested law enforcement, and it's the same as they do now with the Lee County Sheriff's Office. They don't have an agreement with them, but they hire off-duty deputies to work in Gateway.
I understand that, but here's the issue. The HOA is not authorized to spend money out of the Gateway Services budget.
Oh, no, but they
That's
use
my
their own
point.
money. They use their own money.
Exactly.
Yeah, they use their own money. Yeah,
That's my point.
yeah, okay, we're on the same page.
One last thing, and that is the air conditioning system. I'd like to nail that down and get it over. This came up, it was not handled properly in the beginning. Shannon contacted FBI to do a repair. They went out there and looked at it. We were not aware of it, what was going on. He came back with a proposal for replacing the unit. I think she sent it to you. Is that correct? Or maybe Georgia, I'm not sure, but it wound up in your hands. And Chris sent it back to her and said, we got to do it. And, but at that point in time, I first heard about it a couple of days after our last meeting.
Yeah.
And that was in December. And I was a little disturbed that, no one had included us on that in that loop. In any case, we have a couple proposals here that you should have in front of you for the AC. First. Well, just give it a quick glance. It's not rocket science. It's pretty much. I know Warren had some issue with the FBI and what they
No,
had.
not so much FBI, just the other two compared to Spectrum. Spectrum's the highest by $450.
I usually find them to be high in the past.
Yeah, but
And they were the ones who originally did the work in our community.
yeah,
And initially, I personally was using them for service and eventually found somebody else that was not happy with them.
well, I think that, when you look at all three, one's using a Bryant, one using Crane, and one using Carrier. In looking at their brochures, they're all pretty much the same. Where it comes down to differences is like for the circuit breakers. FBI and Condition Air are only going to replace them if they have to. Spectrum is going to put all new parts in. They're going to put all new things in that way. New thermostat, just a lot of different things that the other either haven't mentioned.
Well, actually, FBI does put a new thermostat in.
They're putting a Honeywell digital in, the same as Conditioned Air. Spectrum didn't specify what kind they were putting in, but it probably goes with that thing there. For me, though, the big thing comes down to the warranty. There's a 1-year manufacturer's guideline with FBI and Conditioned Air. Spectrum, using the Train Run True, has a 1-year labor, 10 years on the coil, 10 years on the compressor. All the external switches and devices are 1-year parts and labor. Plus, they also include 1 year of maintenance, which is two visits in that course of the year where they just test everything in the air conditioner. And I think that itself is worth $450.
Well, that sounds high for that. But I will say, I'm pretty confident we can get that from FBI. I'm just telling you. I know it's not part of the budget, but
their proposal really lacks a lot of stuff. They didn't tell too much. Spectrum really listed everything out one by one, and then Conditioned Air, they gave a price and they list a little bit of things of what they were going to do. Then they give us a whole bunch of options. So I can't see, I think Conditioned Air is kind of out, but to me, it comes down to basically the warranty.
well, which brings me to a good point I want to bring up. we're commercial. We're not home service.
Right.
And I know this to be true. And I know you've all probably had new air conditioners put in since by this time. For home use, the manufacturer will give 10 years on certain parts. They do not do it on commercial.
Train, Spectrum, there was an email that apparently Shannon got from somebody saying that the 10-year warranty on the run-through products no longer exist. I contacted the person who did the proposal for Spectrum. He said, no, it does. It said, the fact their stuff is getting better as it goes. They still have the 10-year and it still affects what we have. So what they put in their proposal is exactly what we would get, if not more, because they'll finish everything up because they're going to do any rebates or any of those kinds of things. So I think that's the one thing. I think there's, that's.
Well, I'll say it again. I do remember when we were replacing our heaters a few years ago for the pool, and the proposal we got from one entity was for 10 years on the parts. And I looked further into that, and they said 10 years. Turned out it wasn't. It was 5
Well,
years.
as long as Spectrum puts it in writing, it's good.
Well, then they're responsible for it. Then we got to make sure that.
Well, that's, I got a couple years ago, I replaced mine. I got a 10-year warranty on it, mainly because it was a big size air conditioner.
But you're not commercial.
Huh? Or not commercial. And that's what we talked about on here because they were, because of the length that they had. And I've got a copy of the insurance coverage here somewhere I pulled out of, for the train. Because this person really kind of tried to slam dunk them. And then I said, wait a minute, and I looked at it and I called them today and said, hey, what about this? And he said, no. It says Crane will cover it. It's no problem. It's got the 10 years on everything. So to me, that's worth the money in itself. But
I would like you, Warren, to state specifically, this is commercial application and it still has the 10-year warranty. That's a question you really got to spell out. And in any warranty we receive from them, we got to have that in writing that they recognize as commercial.
I'm sure they'll do that because that's what they have put that in their proposal.
Okay.
And the only thing that the FBI and Condition Air are doing are the parts and service stuff and I'm sure it's the same thing with Spectrum, is they're using the manufacturer's warranty stuff to cover the stuff. They're not covering anything else. They're not giving anything else beyond that. They're putting in old parts if they're as long as they're workable. Spectrum's putting all new parts in from the easy safety switches, the drip pans to some other different things that they're putting in here, and it's all new stuff. So
I've used Spectrum the whole time I've lived here. I've been very happy with it.
Yeah.
me too. Me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you pass that back to Warren? That's his original copy. And Spectrum put your AC in at your house that last time?
Got a 12-year warranty
Yep. That's what it was.
and they even negotiated maintenance on my pool heater, so, on their regular visits. So.
They do, and when they come out and do a service, they spend some time.
So we're talking about $450 more.
So,
Well, with all those new parts and the warranty and whatnot, $400 is nothing.
that's what?
It's nothing.
No.
$400 is nothing.
Yeah, the other one's given to Bryant. Not a bad unit, but I don't think it's a train either. Though. I agree with you on that. Anybody else have any opinions on this besides?
Too much, I'm gonna be quiet.
No, I would have leaned towards FBI for the two reasons of, A, the guy lives right in Stoneybrook, so you get almost immediate response if there's an issue. And then secondly, he's already servicing our clubhouse. However, if 10-year, you can't argue much with a 10-year warranty. 10-year warranty beats 5, only for a couple of $100 more.
FBI is who I use, so I highly recommend them, but when I look at a train versus a Bryant, then I start getting concerned because I know the reputation of the train. So, you know, if I would have done this, I would have asked the FBI, could you give us a price quote for a train instead of the Bryant? But maybe you'd have gotten the same, you know, 10-year warranty.
That's what,
Actually, he talked about a premium unit, and I specifically asked him, would that give us a longer warranty? He says, no, commercial, 5 years.
Okay.
That was his reply.
and I'd say I've talked to them, but here, conditioned air, one of their options is a 10-year parts and labor warranty on all equipment. And that's $1,970.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
So I think that's a cost factor that you can put into some of that.
You know, I don't have a problem going with Spectrum, as
Yeah.
long as we get it in writing that it's commercial. Do you remember the water cooler on the back of the clubhouse? And and Pat got it for us, and it was gonna be stainless steel, it was gonna be warranted, and then when it came time, when it crapped out, the guy said, oh, you're commercial, and that was outside. That's not gonna be warranted that long. And it was, so we need it really spelled out, I'm just telling you.
I would say I was satisfied talking to this guy that he did the thing and on the warranty stuff. And he was totally convinced that it would be 10 years and stuff. Because the other person from one of the other companies had sent an email to Shannon saying that this 10-year warranty wasn't good because Train is changing their things. And when I'm talking to Spectrum, they said, yeah, they're changing it, but they're changing it to the better. And he gave me a website to go to, and I went to the website and pull it off, and all the trash I have here.
Yeah. Well, how about we don't make a decision today? We know what we got to work with and possibly get a verification from the manufacturer, from the company, that in writing, it'll be 10 years, no doubt, and they're aware of the fact that it's commercial.
Yeah.
And then I could live
I think
easier with it.
the one thing that they do is on their thing is to register equipment to activate extended warranties and that and some other stuff too. If there's any rebates, I guess they take care of the rebates too. So if there's any rebates at that time.
Well, okay, yeah, I mean, that's.
At that time, you don't know, you don't know when the rebates are going to be there.
So is that something you could check for us then, Warren?
I'll give the guy a call
Okay.
tomorrow.
All right, fine. And just say that whatever contract we have, that has to be written in.
Okay, I'm sure they'll do that. Yeah, I can't remember.
Anybody else have any opinions on that?
So it's just the two things. It's the 10 years and the commercial. Those are the two.
Yeah, that really needs to be clarified.
The two annuals
And
inspections.
for $400 more with the train, you can't.
Yeah,
Can't beat
it's
it if
annual
that's in there.
No, it sounds good. I will admit.
And
For the extra money, it sounds like it's worth it.
yeah, I think the going price this year for the service is 120 or 150 for the two services.
Yeah, it probably is. That sounds about right.
I can't remember.
It's a 2-year contract, so it's different.
Yeah, I got 2 years. 1 year I talked him into 3 years for.
We do it 3 years.
Yeah.
About 350 for 3 years.
Yeah.
Twice a year they come.
And that's who? FBI?
No,
No. Spectrum?
I'm waiting until it runs out, then I'm gonna get, no, it's none of these guys. It's Gulf Coast Cooling.
It's a small one.
They were the sticker on there. Previous owners had it installed in 2016. We bought the house in 2017, so I called them up and they said, oh, yeah, you're still under warranty for 10 years. I am.
10 years. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's
Well, can I ask another question? Because like it says the 1-year maintenance agreement, after that, what was the cost for adding on? Like you said, you paid $350 a year,
No.
Oh, no, that.
3 years.
$350 for 3 years. What is it after the first year? I'm sorry, did I miss that?
They just said they're gonna, Spectrum said they're gonna provide 1 year maintenance, which is the two services. They don't have a cost. That's part of the whole thing. Part of the proposal.
No, she was asking if there was a price.
For the next 3 years.
Was
like-
Oh, no, you'd have to check with them.
Yeah, we'd have to get.
Every
quotes
year,
for that.
whatever it expires, you have to check
All
with
right.
them.
I think we're done.
Okay.
Okay, you want me to get them, and because if that's all it's gonna take, and if we get that, we could get that, because this is something that can
just come down here with approval from us to do that. So you want to move on that now, or I hate to wait another month. But it's up to you.
Well, one of the things I think we have going for us is the fact that it's cool. That, it's whether, if this was summertime, yeah, this would be an emergency.
Okay,
So I think we got time.
okay. All right.
Unless anybody else feels differently about that. Open
I know I have a
space.
silly question as a homeowner. When you have this contract and that 1 year ends up finishing out and you want to do a maintenance agreement with another company, you could actually hire FBI Air or someone else to do it.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
It might
Yeah.
not be, if a warranty job comes up later.
Yeah.
It might get a little bit awkward unless FBI
Yeah.
is willing to honor it through the warranty.
And like if you not all of these companies can work with Train.
True.
So that's the one thing of going with the company that has put it in, because they have all
Right.
the pay. Plus, if you have the maintenance, they have 1 or 2 free calls if you have a problem. So I think I had a problem one time and I had it, didn't cost me anything for the service call, just for a couple parts they had to put in.
Yeah, they don't charge you a holiday premium because you got the
Yeah,
contract
yeah,
and all that.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so anybody, let's go around. Anybody have any issues? There's no audience out here, so any things concerned to bring up?
The only thing they asked me to ask about was, do we have a schedule or update on the lake restoration stuff that's going on? Remember, they were gonna start the one lake last year on between Bluestone and Pebblebrook, and
Yeah,
then it got too wet too
surprise.
fast.
The contractor was issued a notice to proceed and they're waiting for the water levels to drop.
McDonald's.
Okay.
Right now, the water, so. yeah.
Are surprisingly high so far.
Yeah.
They
And
really are.
we would
But they said
imagine
they would-
that
They would be having a hearing.
mid-February, moving into March, when everything dries out, they should be able to get to work.
Yeah, that'll be that one, and is there still a
Why
couple
would he
more?
want
There's 2 gateway greens.
But only the one in Stoneybrook?
Right.
But the only thing is that the impeachment does is.
They had 7.
Terry or Lou, must have been maybe, Terry? Does Terry live on a lake on the back
He
of
didn't do
his,
it, you have him impeached, but not
Well,
this time, I
He
think.
says he's been out there and
He's on the other side of Greenstone from me, but he's all the way down at the end. I don't know how much more water frontage he has, maybe a little bit.
Wonder
I
what
thought
I
he
do
was the
all
one
day,
that-
right?
I don't know how you have time.
Yeah, that'd be him that brought it up maybe. They were saying he went walking around the back and noticed that the bank is, his backyard is slowly getting smaller
Oh,
because more of it is.
the one
taken
that's
away from the-
contained by Stone Valley, that lake is shrinking big time. It really is. It's like lost a third of its size. It's unbelievable. And we talked about that, but remember, they weren't gonna do any dredging, and that lake needs to be dredged. It really does. It's getting bad,
Okay, so this will be,
but that's another subject.
this will be in the next couple months. That's the only thing I had on here.
Anybody else? Okay, I'm good. We got a few things to handle until the next meeting. And let's just say that I appreciate you guys all coming down. It's been an hour and a half. Chris, sorry to tie you up here tonight.
I go to work again.
What's that for the next meeting, right? Okay. What does it say here? All right, February the 10th, sound good to everybody? That's the second Wednesday in February.
Do we need to move it so we can get stuff on the agenda for the,
We tried that,
Just gonna say that.
we talked about that, and there's no other time that the room was available.
Well, right now, I don't know, because there's less communities using it that used to use it before. But,
This stuff had to be in
so are
yesterday.
you
We should move it to
suggesting
Monday.
because of the way we're getting shut out? Well, we came up with this one, so we actually could extend the period to be able to get to that second meeting, and apparently that's not working anymore. So I don't know what to say. I really don't.
I mean, move it up in a week and go to the first Wednesday?
First Wednesday?
Let's check the calendar.
And then someone said, we brought this up before, that somewhere there's a list on the calendar dates have to be announced a year in advance somewhere. Where was that?
That's
Sounds
that's for the CDD board meetings. They have to publish their meeting schedule.
Okay.
So they do generate a list for us, but technically I don't think it's legally locked in. like,
Okay.
To the extent that
Yeah,
there's a.
that's the only little thing I heard in the back of my head.
Well, that's something we can entertain, to try to get things into the next meeting and within that month. How do you guys feel about that going to the first Wednesday? Does it make a difference?
No, I think it's a great idea with the issue that we have going on here, getting stuff in. Hopefully it would resolve.
Well, how about this? If February 3rd is open, is there a possibility we can make that the next meeting? All right, so let's say, if available, we'll call the next meeting for February 3rd. Everyone's okay with that? And if not, then we'll have to go to, we'll go to the 10th. We'll take it back to the normal 10th. Is that okay with everybody? All right, anybody, so nobody else has anything on the emotion?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, is that Virginia that adjourned, and who's second? Okay, I'm gonna give it to him, just to give him one, okay? All right, Chris Scaffield gets the second for adjournment, and we are done. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
4:37.